You ever heard of a city that was built for victory, but then just vanished? I'm talking about a metropolis as huge as Rome, totally lost to the world for centuries. Its story was just waiting there, ready to be pieced together from stone and memory. Okay, let's get into it.
So, picture this. Deep in southern India, hidden among these incredible granite hills, you'll find the sprawling ruins of a once mighty empire. For hundreds of years, these silent stones were pretty much all that was left of what was once a spectacular capital city.
Its name was, well, it was a declaration of power. They called it Vijayanagara.
All right, to really understand this lost city, we have to start with its name, because that name holds the key to its entire identity. So, Vijayanagara, it literally means city of victory. And it wasn't just a city, it was the heart of this huge empire that basically dominated the southern peninsula for over 200 years. We're talking from the Krishna River all the way down to the southern tip of the subcontinent.
But then, it all came crashing down. In a single catastrophic year, 1565, the city was attacked, completely plundered, and then just abandoned. The city of victory fell silent.
Now, even though the empire was gone, the memory of this great city, it kind of lingered. The locals knew the ruins by another name, Hampi. That name came from the local mother goddess, Pampadevi, and it was this local memory that would end up being the very first clue to its rediscovery.
So, how in the world do you even start to rediscover a lost empire?
Well, it's not like one single aha moment. It's more like this slow, careful process of historical detective work, piecing together clues from all these different places.
The modern part of the story kicks off in the year 1800, and it starts with a man named Colonel Colin Mackenzie. He was an engineer and an antiquarian working for the East India Company, and he basically stumbled upon these ruins and ended up creating the very first survey map of the site.
Rebuilding this history was like solving a giant puzzle. Mackenzie and the scholars who came after him couldn't just rely on one thing. They started by listening, They listened to the oral histories shared by the priests of Hampi's ancient temples. Then came the detailed mapping, and later, from 1856 on, photography. You also had epigraphists deciphering inscriptions carved right into the stone, and historians cross-referencing all of that with these super vivid accounts from foreign travelers who'd actually visited the city when it was thriving.
And the history they uncovered? Wow, it was incredible. It revealed an empire built on this powerful combo of military strategy and, well, being really smart about money. So, let's look at how the Rayas became such a powerhouse.
Okay, so according to tradition and inscriptions, the whole Vijayanagara Empire got its start back in 1336. It was founded by two brothers, Harihara and Bukka. They kicked off the Sangama dynasty and laid the groundwork for a state that would last for centuries.
So what was their secret sauce? It was this really powerful one-two punch. On the military side, they knew that winning wars depended on a super strong cavalry, and that meant controlling the trade and war horses from places like Arabia and Central Asia. Then, on the economic side, their ports were just buzzing with overseas trade. We're talking high-demand stuff, spices, textiles, precious gems, and all that trade made the empire incredibly wealthy. And this focus on trade wasn't just some random policy, it was their core philosophy. You can see it straight from the top. Listen to this from the empire's most famous ruler, Krishnadeva Raya. He literally wrote the book on how to run a state. It's called the Amukta Malayada, and in it, he stresses that a king must encourage commerce, especially for those all-important horses and other luxury goods.
And it was under Krishnadeva Raya that the empire really hit its peak. His 20-year reign was a true golden age. We're talking expansion, consolidation, and just a period of unparalleled peace and prosperity. He was a brilliant military guy and a huge supporter of art and architecture. So what was it actually like to, walk the streets of this bustling imperial capital at the height of its power? Well, thanks to some really detailed eyewitness accounts, we can get a pretty vivid picture. Thanks to travelers like this Portuguese merchant Domingo Paes, we have this absolutely breathtaking picture. He climbed a hill overlooking the city and was just stunned. He wrote that it seemed as large as Rome and was filled with gardens, lakes, and all these channels of fresh water. Paes was not exaggerating about the water. See, the city was located in one of the most arid zones of the whole peninsula, so its survival completely depended on brilliant engineering. They built these massive tanks, like the Kamalapuram tank, and canals like the Hiria Canal, which drew water from the Tungabhadra River to water the fields and supply the city. They were true masters of water. But their genius wasn't just about water. When it came to defending the city, they had an idea that was, well, it was expensive, but for its time, it was absolutely brilliant. They built walls around their farms. Think about it. A typical medieval siege was designed to starve a city out. The rulers of Vijayanagara's solution? Just fortify the entire agricultural area. They built 7 lines of massive fortress walls that encircled not just the city, but its fields, gardens, and forests, making it almost impossible to starve them into submission.
And inside those walls, a really unique culture just blossomed. The architecture alone shows this fascinating mix of styles. You've got the traditional towering gateways of South Indian temples, which are called gopurams. But right alongside them, you see palaces with arches and domes that show the influence of the neighboring Deccan sultanates. It's a style people often call Indo-Islamic.
But you know, even the strongest walls in the world can't protect an empire from political problems. That golden age couldn't last forever, and when the end came, it came fast.
This timeline really lays it all out. After Krishnadeva Raya died in 1529, cracks started to appear. His successors had a tough time dealing with rebellious military chiefs. The whole political situation got really volatile, especially when the empire's chief minister, Rama Raya, tried to play the neighboring sultanates against each other. It was a very dangerous game.
And it backfired, spectacularly. In 1565, the Deccan sultanates of Bijapur, Ahmadnagar, and Golconda decided to put their own differences aside and form an alliance. At the Battle of Talikota, their combined army completely destroyed the forces of Vijayanagara. The victorious armies then marched on the capital and, well, we know the rest. The city of victory was sacked and left in ruins.
And so we're left with this really powerful image. A city whose very name meant victory. A marvel of engineering and strategic design, now just a silent monument to a fallen empire. Its story, pieced back together from ruins and memory, leaves us with a pretty deep question about the nature of all great powers and their relationship with time itself.